social media is an interesting thing. I guess I'm a creator now and an influencer, but it's been quite a bit of my social life for the last few years is actually doing this.
Yeah.
For very good reasons. But. You can sure get wrapped up in those comments, and they're really meaningless because they don't know a thing about you, but they project onto
But I will say this: the older you get, the less you give a shit.
I don't give a shit. Yeah,
I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I won't say her name, but I had a female podcaster on here, and we went through. She's single, and we started talking about this, and it was like a unwanted therapy session, but she was talking. It was friendly, and we're laughing. Well, then the videos went up.
yeah.
And she literally exposed herself, and everybody's commenting. She's like, "Can you take it down?" And I got a profile, I got an image, and she complained. And I kind of knew her, so I'm like, you know what? Fine, I'll take it down.
Yeah.
But it's like you can't handle. I knew there was a red flag when that's my thumbnail. You should have told me I can edit the thumbnail. I'm like, oh my God, this woman. The point is this: if you're podcasting or you're on social media, and everything has to be filtered, and you want to start a podcast with a woman, don't, because you can't handle people commenting and making comments about you. Look, I'm not frickin' Chad. I don't look perfect. I have people make fun of me, my beard, this or that. He's got short man syndrome. I'm 5'9", I'm average height, whatever. I don't care. But I don't care.
Yeah.
I have my bag, my girl. You have your wife. You have any girl you want.
Yeah.
And so the point is that these are reliable experts in your field, fair to say. You're not always right, but you're rarely in doubt.
Yep.
You have wisdom, experience, knowledge. You both wrote books. You've mentored and coached men of all ages and demographics and income. So when people watch this podcast, I encourage them, look, take it with a grain of salt. Take what you want from it. Be like the Catholics. Take what you want from the scripture, leave the rest. Joke, but not a joke.
That's good.
So I always encourage people. I learn from everybody. And initially, it was like, oh, you're like Kevin Samuels. Hey, that's a compliment. You're like Rollo Tomassi. Hey, that's a compliment. Like Michael Sartain. No, I'm not a robot. I'm not a savant. Or But I'm gonna take shit from your book and I'm gonna use it. But if anybody says, oh, that's yours, I'm gonna say, yeah, I got it from his freaking book.
I'll do you one better. You could use anything in there, even use the term a dominant masculine presence when describing a vibe, and I don't care. You can use it without credit me. I am standing on the shoulders of giants, and I didn't really put anything special. I did put something special together, but it's not secret. I'm standing on the shoulders of giants that came before me, many decades before. I mean, what I'm going to lay out there is the problem that men face and why there's a problem with masculinity. And I'm actually going to dispel, what we all believe right now with alpha, beta, and delta and sigma. And I'm going to say, no, that's actually not how people are. I'm going to show you that in that book there is men that have dominant masculine presence that would fit beta to the T, but their success level and everything they do about them isn't what you would think. Now, here's what I've identified. I've identified 6 or 7 skills of a dominant masculine presence, and I define those, and they're pretty straightforward. And this is what I'm telling my readers is you get above average in any 3 of those skills, and you'll be ahead of 80% of the men out there. The skills are pretty simple. It's straightforward. It's physicality. It's psychology. It is presence. It is prosperity. It is passion. It is problem solving. Okay? And it is power, as in influence of other people.
Yeah.
Level up in just 3 of those. Say you leveled up in physicality, psychology, and prosperity. What do we have? A Brandon Carter.
But you
see? So that's what I'm
Can I say something and I'll
Yeah.
get back to you on that? It's interesting though, like here's an example. Like I look at Jeff Bezos and I talk about this all the time, this example.
I have an example, yeah.
He, in my opinion, okay, first of all, he's not alpha, but he's successful in business because any guy that now he paid $38 billion for the divorce so he could date this Latina girl. But now he married her right away. He put her on the front of his rocket ship. He's simping. And so everybody's like, well, he's a high value man. Now, high value man means like people are flocking to him. Yeah, it's easy for him to date, but he's beta. He's not alpha. He's not alpha. Now he's on TRT and probably HGH, right? But
you can say that. I'm going to say he actually has a dominant masculine presence, and he gives no fucks. And
no, he
he's
doesn't.
out there.
No,
he's
he doesn't.
buying what he wants. He's buying that gal.
Right.
He wants her. Fine. I'm going to pay you up.
Fair statement. Fair statement. But the guy can buy, he can buy everything, but avoiding taxes and he can do that good too, and death, right? But the point is that the guy
you could say he's beta, and he fits some of those qualities when we define it by
Fair.
that. But I think it's a much broader spectrum we have to look at.
You're
And
going
you
down.
Can actually get you can raise yourself.
You're going to the micro level, right? I was going more macro, like the surface from what I see. But you have a detailed, in depth. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh no, it's no worry.
Troy.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating stuff. I hear what you're saying about Bezos, and I also hear what you're saying as well. And I think that one of the issues in the space is that all of this stuff gets very simplified. And it sounds like you're looking into the nuance of it more, because here's the thing, right? You get these dudes on social media, it's like, yeah, man, you got to be an alpha male. And everybody thinks you got to be Tate. It's like, if you're not Tate, if you're not bald and like...
I have a Bugatti. Do you have a Bugatti? The question is, I believe that the man asked me, why do I have a gold Bugatti? I asked him, you don't even own a Bugatti. That's Tate, right? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, the guy's on a whole new level.
Yeah, but everyone thinks you've got to be that.
Didn't they ask you what color is your Bugatti?
Yeah, something like that, right?
I just say which one.
Everyone thinks you've got to be that archetype. Everyone thinks that you've got to be that same kind of dude, or you've got to be Rich Cooper or whatever. And the reality is you don't. Not even to be successful in dating. There are different archetypes of guys who are very successful in dating.
You said archetypes?
Yeah, I got a whole
like-
chapter
Is it
on that in
architect or archetypes?
No,
Archetypes.
I got a chapter on archetypes and identity, because it's what he says is really, really actually important. It's part of who you are and what you're projecting into the world. And you've seen this. Girls say, I want a guy that I vibe with.
Exactly.
That's what this dominant masculine presence is about. It's not as specific like an Andrew Tate.
Okay.
It crosses all boundaries.
But
If
guys,
if you look at it that
yeah,
way.
guys have a very simplified version of what it is,
do.
and it's more nuanced than that. Having said that, I also do think, and I don't know if you speak to this, but there is also clearly an issue with masculinity, I think.
There is.
And there are guys who are very, however you want to label it, but on the simplified, the betaified side, just to use simplified language, there are a lot of dudes who, and this is something that myself and Tusk are addressing in this course that we're doing now, The Edge, because it seems to me like a lot of it is, even if the guy is going out there and being social and talking to women and being in contact with women and dealing with women, a lot of dudes, the way that they come across is very, and it's not even just blatant simping like, oh, babe, I'm going to buy you some flowers, I'm going to buy you a computer or whatever. It's just they're being very submissive. They're not being sort of, they don't have that kind of thing
I
about
think they're
them.
afraid to
The
lose
women-
a girl.
Exactly.
That's what I was talking about earlier. I think that's a big problem with these
Yeah.
guys is
And-
they convince themselves to do this for fear of losing
Yeah.
future
And-
potential sexual access.
And we've been talking a lot more recently between ourselves, and we're starting to do a bit of content about it now, about the hormonal side of things. I don't want to derail the conversation, start talking about Tren again, but it's a little bit like if there is this fall of testosterone in the general male populace, if some of that was leveled out, or if guys were dealing with that a bit more, maybe the way that they came across would have more of that forceful masculine essence to it. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're onto something. I think it's a multifactorial issue.
Yeah.
And it's varied. You're right. Testosterone across, the West has fallen 50% in
we're
50 years. Plus, sperm counts have fallen 45%.
We're sitting-
A woman's wrote a book on this called Countdown, a famous doctor. It's pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, we're sitting 8 hours a day on the computers, and then when we're done, when I say we, I'm not referring to us.
Yeah.
But I'm on the computer a lot. Then the average guy goes and he eats something and he sits on the couch and watches Netflix.
Yeah.
They're not going to the gym.
Yeah.
And so and this is the thing, you're seeing this change happen where there's no your evolution within the species. I don't believe across evolution, but within the species of human males, there's no need for that testosterone to be that high. You're not out farming. You're not out changing a car tire. You're not out working on my godfather. He worked on sprint cars. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows what that is. We probably know what sprint cars are. Yep. But he's out there. He's like, this is a 350 motor. This is a 283. This is a big block Chevy with the orange, orange sprayed engine. So
let's port the jets, man. We're going to get it going.
Right.
Sure.